So, a lot of you know who I am, some of you don't. I've been working with Macs, taking care of them, fixing them since 1986. Currently, I'm at an Apple Consultants Network member, the Mac Guys Plus, in the Twin Cities, Western Wisconsin, Northern Iowa. So I'm at the Mac Guys Plus. It's the MacGuys.com, member of the Apple Consultants Network. We basically do anything the Apple Store doesn't do. Take care of businesses, take care of grandmas, mobile device management, servers, I mean, anything and everything. Before that, I was at First Tech Computer for 20 years, Apple's first dealer outside of California. Well, unfortunately, not in business anymore. And I had a variety of support roles before that. I've got a few certifications, a few too many to put on a business card, so I just made one up. And one of the core philosophies we have at the Mac Guys, which kind of goes along with this a little bit, is not really competing with each other. We all can better each other if we work together and cooperate. So that's kind of a fun thing that we have there. And my topic, of course, is what to do when your Mac needs repair. Now this is a true story. This teenage kid was FaceTiming with his girlfriend and screwing around with a handgun, pointed it at her on the screen and didn't know it was loaded. Clean in on the front, just missed the hard drive going out the back. So that's kind of a crazy story. So the most important thing when your Mac needs to be repaired is you gotta take it to somebody who knows what they're doing. And the best place to start is locate.apple.com. And from there, the two things you would look at is service for an Apple authorized service provider or consulting for a member of the Apple Consultants Network. So we're going to start with service. You go there and you put in your city, zip code, whatever, and you get your search results. And here I did it in Orange County, California, and it'll show you the different things you want. If you want the best, you want to get premium right here. They're held to a higher standard. Apple Store is a good second choice. Anything that doesn't have a badge on it is an authorized service provider, but they're not at those higher classifications. And you can click through and see, if they've got reviews, how well they're regarded, all of that stuff. And kind of the same deal with the consultants, but it looks a little bit different. When you go to the consulting part, you actually have to click on this blue part to start the search. And you get your search results, again, with the map and the reviews and all of that stuff. But the reviews are shown a little bit more prominently on the consultants page. Another good place to look, but you don't always get the Apple-blessed locations, is Yelp. There you get reviews from people and ratings and all that good stuff. Just yelp.com, and the search results that are going to give you the best results is you use Mac Repair. And there are a few other places you can look as well. Google is the one people probably use the most, but with that you kind of end up with the kitchen sink of search results, and you have to be a little bit careful because you can end up with some place that will get your Mac apart and put it back together, and the screws are in the wrong place, and a cable is torn, and I've seen this stuff. So Google is something to be a little bit careful with. When you do find a place you're thinking of bringing it, you want to call them up and ask them questions, but be aware that they really can't tell you how much it's going to cost without seeing it, because they have to identify what model it is, the correct parts, make sure that what you think is going on is what's really going on. You want to ask them about any certifications and authorizations that they have, and price shopping is not a good idea, because if you go with the lowest, they're probably the people with the least experience. So once you found a good place to bring it, you need to tell them all the right things. You don't want to tell them a diagnosis. You don't want to tell them what it is doing. You want to say what it is doing, not what it isn't doing. You want to give a good, specific example of, when I do this, it does this, rather than it's broken. You don't want to use a lot of generic terms. For certain things like screen distortions or error messages, it's a good idea to take a picture of it with your phone, because a lot of times you're not going to remember exactly what it says, and an exact error message could be extremely helpful. And if somebody is going to bring it in for you, you definitely want to send a note with that person, because your friend is going to be like, oh, I don't know, it belongs to my friend. Some examples of good things to say, rather than it has a bad video card. I've been told my laptop has a bad video card so many times. And laptops don't have video cards. They have the chip right on the logic board. Rather than it has a bad video card, the screen stays black, but I can hear it running. Rather than mail doesn't work, it freezes every time I open mail. Just things like that. And being prepared with everything that the repair tech may need is really important. The thing that slows down repairs is phone tag. What's your password? Your Apple ID isn't working. Anything like that is going to cause phone tag and slow everything down. And they want to get it back to you as quick as they can. So be sure to have your admin password for your Mac, your Apple ID, and the password for that, because they may need to reinstall the operating system, and that's how you get it nowadays. Any relevant web network or email login information. If you've got a problem with a peripheral like an external hard drive, be sure to bring the power supply with it, because there's hundreds of thousands of different kinds of peripherals, scanners, hard drives, whatever, and they all use their own unique power supply, and no shop is going to have all the power supplies. So you want to bring that with. Microsoft ID or Adobe ID info for if the problem has to do with Office or Adobe Creative Suite. Any serial numbers for anything that may need to be installed. Things that you don't need to bring. Keyboard, mouse, the power cord for the Mac, no data or network cables, typically. Sometimes there's exceptions to that. But most often, the repair place will have those in abundance, and they don't want to lose yours, so they'd rather not have it. Some things do require an on-site, like if it's a network problem or anything internet related, that's not something they're really going to be able to troubleshoot in the shop for you. So they'll have to come out to you rather than doing anything like that. Well, I think it's time for lunch. Thank you.